Coming down to the end of the year, you're probably starting to think about the new goals and new things you want to accomplish in the new year and how you're going to be able to do that. I feel like this is a topic that I'm very familiar with. Looking through the year that's gone by, there's a lot of really good things that I managed to do and a lot of things that I still was not able to accomplish. And I think that's perfectly fine. That's just part of being human, right? I'm making this video not to give you a step-by-step process on what things you should implement and you should do, like, and or telling you to do like a hard 75, because that doesn't work for everyone, and it definitely doesn't work for me. This isn't a productivity hack video. This is just what's been working for me. To make this a little bit more practical, I'll start off with the digital tools that make my day-to-day a little bit easier. Now, the goal of working with digital tools and things like Notion, which is what we're about to get into, is to not overcomplicate things. It's really easy to pack your calendar and try to follow it step by step and try to give yourself deadlines for what you should be accomplished at what time of the day. Really just doesn't resonate, and what ultimately ends up happening is I end up feeling bad for not being able to hit those tasks at that designated time that I set myself out to do those things. So then it kind of just never gets done, and it sort of snowballs into the fact of me just not doing things for the rest of the day. Now, Notion can be a very overwhelming tool. It gives you a lot of freedom. And based on what I just told you, it might be something that sort of like contradicts. So like, why are we using Notion, right? If it's so complicated. I think the way to utilize it is either trying to figure out how to make templates on your own, or just finding templates that work for you. Having a nice, simple ecosystem that make things flow, that are easy to access, easy to input information and data, and sort of just fill out on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you're watching this video, there's probably certain goals that you want to hit, right? It could be fitness, it could be reading more, it could be starting a side business. Maybe you already have a business. Maybe you just want a simple system to kind of organize everything, and maybe that's your goal. Notion's been a really fun way for me to document those things, or at least keep track of them, because it sort of gamifies the process in a way. I'm not gonna go deep into how to build a template or what you should add to the template. I'm just gonna highlight the templates that have been working for me. So for example, a habit tracker. Finding a good habit tracker template and just taking time out of your day to fill it in on a daily basis. It could be something you do early in the morning. It could be something that you do just throughout the day. It could be something that you fill out at the end of the day. It's been really helping me kind of just check those boxes and transition things over. And whenever you do that, it kind of gives you a dopamine hit, and it feels really good. It'll ultimately just push you and inspire you to continue to do those things, maybe stack a little bit more throughout the year. I mentioned video games. I also have a template of just keeping a log of like the games that I'm playing, the games that I finished. It's not necessarily a common goal to have to log all the games that you're playing, but I really enjoy it, and I want to just keep track of the data and write my own reviews and take pictures like in game and kind of just store them there, and kind of just keep a log of the things that I've been doing, like what type of games do I really enjoy playing. Now, why am I pushing Notion so heavily here? Outside of Notion and kind of just keeping track and utilizing the templates, it's really been hard for me to also navigate that, and then using a different app for a calendar, and then using a different app for a task manager. Last year, I think Notion released a task in a calendar version of their app. So what's been really easy for me is, again, just eliminating the options that I have instead of combining it all as a whole. The calendar has been really clear, really informative. I like the way that it's laid out for me, and the tasks as well. And like I mentioned, it's really cool because you can link them to your reading tracker or your video tracker or content calendar and things like that. And you can give yourself tasks, and they will automatically get added to your calendar, which is really good because that way I don't have to bounce around like multiple things. That's the main reason why I'm talking about Notion right here. The key ideas for this is to start simple and evolve it later, and to also keep track of the things without overcomplicating them. A lot of systems can overcomplicate a lot of things. Having multiple apps for a variety of different things can do that to you. So just keep it all in one platform, make it easy for yourself, give it a shot, and see if it works for you. Now, planning digitally helps me stay organized, but the processing of the information actually happens a lot better for me offline. Digital tools are very handy and they're really useful in situations where you just need to jot something down or you just need to document something down. Ultimately, what helps me retain the information and process it a lot more is just physically writing it out, whether it's through journaling, through writing prompts, or just having a system to document and schedule things out physically on a piece of paper. So you have your Notion, you have your templates, you're really good, but you forget a lot of the things really quick. You don't want to look at your phone the entire time. You don't want to be stuck to your screen. You have goals you want to achieve. Writing's been helping me a lot with that. And a lot it's to do with just carrying a simple pocket journal. This one I have right now is from Paper Republic, and they're a little bit more on the expensive side. This is just what works for me and what I got into when I was first starting a journal. This is exactly what I was looking for. Now, it's not just about writing things on the calendar or just like writing a task that you need to accomplish, like taking out the laundry, taking out the trash. It's about just unwinding and clearing your mind from the thoughts that you have from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. We don't realize how many things are being processed in our head. So something like morning pages, like in the first hour, first 30 minutes that you wake up, just write your thoughts on a piece of paper. That's going to help clear your mind, which is going to make it easier ultimately to make decisions throughout the day, to do the things that you need to do, because you're not having those thoughts, you're not having things weighing you down. You've already physically wrote them on a piece of paper, and if you want to revisit them and journal and prompt later afterwards further, you're more than welcome to do that. I would challenge you to do that as well. We're not all writers. You might not even know where you even begin with the morning pages. Quite literally, whatever you're thinking, like, hey, I'm thinking about fried chicken at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 7 a.m., whenever you're waking up, like just write about fried chicken. It's the process of just showing up on paper, decluttering your mind, to help you make decisions throughout the day a lot easier. There's this thing called decision fatigue because we have a lot of things going on because we're thinking about a lot of things throughout the day, and the less things you have to worry about, the less things you have to think about, the easier it is to stay consistent, make those decisions. Now, like I said, we're not all writers, so what's the best way to get into writing, to get into doing morning pages, or just journaling as a whole if you're not familiar with the whole process? Well, similar to templates for Notion, there's templates for writing, and these are called prompts, writing prompts. These prompts are basically just a set of questions that are trying to get an idea. They're trying to get the process, trying to get you into flow state of writing. And the goal is just to answer the questions. Just answer the questions that you laid out for yourself, things that you want to guide you towards an end or an outcome or a conversation that you're looking to have. Now, if you're using ChatGPT or any sort of like AI interface like that, it could be easy to kind of just get some prompts from there as well. Seeing what's out there first and foremost, so you know what you're talking about, so you're not just getting information for the sake of getting information. It would be my recommendation for you to go out there and do that. You don't have to be perfect. The thing with writing analog and having a physical pen to paper connection is that it's going to be messy. There are going to be typos. It's kind of like shooting film. It's meant for it to not be perfect, and the imperfections is what makes it great. It's also not about consistency. You don't have to force yourself to do it every single day. You could do it every other day, every 2 days. There's the 2-day rule that I'm going to mention here. Now, all of this works if you're not turning productivity into another source of pressure. So how do you give yourself enough breathing room to stay consistent and build these systems that you can rely on, but not make them take control of your life? There's some best practices that I've realized over the years when trying to implement some of these things for myself and seeing other people implement a version of this on themselves. And there's a lot of things that work for me. There's a lot of things that don't work for me. And there's ways that sort of rewire the way that I think, or sort of like cheat the system in a way that help me accomplish my goal. One of the things that I mentioned was implementing a 2-day rule. And the 2-day rule is very common. It's used for like productivity practices, and you know, people like Matt Diavella and Ali Abdaal have mentioned this thing. So it's basically the idea that you are not going to take 2 days off in a row, whether it's from journaling, from, you know, doing a craft, from tackling that project, from writing that book, whatever it is, going to the gym, whatever it is that you're doing. You can take days off, and we need to take days off. We can't continue to just work and work and work and work every single day, because you're gonna burn out and eventually you're gonna fall out of love with whatever it is that you're chasing. So the 2-day rule kind of helps bring some consistency and structure to your days, but it doesn't force you to do the thing every single day. Giving yourself those days off, like let's say today is Monday, I'm gonna record today, I'm gonna do this video, I'm gonna do the scripting, I'm gonna do the shooting. Tomorrow I'm not gonna do any of like the shooting or stuff like that. I'm just gonna do maybe some writing, maybe I'm gonna dabble into graphic design, I'm gonna go out and take pictures, I'm gonna look for typography, whatever it is that I'm doing. But on come Wednesday, I have to shoot again. I have to fall into that routine to shoot again. It gives you some breathing room, but it also gives you enough leeway to sort of position yourself to foresee that task and mentally prepare for those things. So these are the tips that I have, that I've been using, and the systems that have been working for me. And hopefully you got some inspiration from this and you implement and run with some of these things, your own version of it. And in a couple weeks, once the year's already kicked off, you can come back to this video and let me know how things are going. What are some of the things that you've implemented? Remember, start off with something small. Don't get overwhelmed with all the habits. Start with one at a time. Sustainability over intensity is ultimately going to triumph. So the longer you can keep doing the thing, the better you're going to get optimized for it. It's not about doing more, it's about building systems that you can keep coming back to, and that's how you're going to win. So hopefully this video helped, and I'll see you whenever I make another one.